Welcome back to the shed. This is going to be part 2 of refurbishing a mini SPi Inlet Manifold. We are going to, over the course of part 2, we're going to fit the core plugs, brand new stainless steel core plugs, and we're also going to fit the brand new stainless steel pipes. This manifold's been fully cleaned up. You noticed it was smoking a lot yesterday, so I degreased the interior, all the coolant waterways. So it should be all nice and clean now. But we're going to do this very first core plug at the top here. Right, we're now going to do the very first core plug, which is at the top here. To do this, I use belt and braces. I use like a high temperature silicone. This one is just an example of that. What I'm going to do is put a bead around the edge here, and then I'm going to put a bead around the edge of this as well, and then we'll hammer it in. So I'm just going to put a little bit on my glove here, and it's going to be a bit messy, and there's probably a better way of doing this, but this is the way that works for me. And what you're trying to do is, as I said, belt and braces. The core plug on its own is probably sufficient, because that's what they do. But because they're core plugs, stainless steel core plugs, they are very hard to get out if you don't do it properly. If things don't seal properly. Let me just do a little tiny bit more there. Yeah, happy with that. So if I just show you that, so you've got a sort of a black goo around the edge there. Okay, put that to one side. I'm now going to just clean my finger off a bit, so you can't see any action while I'm doing that. Right. It does get everywhere, the black silicone, so just be careful, otherwise you'll end up putting everything around there. So I'm doing this a bit, and what I'm trying to do here is just put a tiny bit of reciprocal silicone around the edge of the base of the core plug. Nearly there. You can see, hopefully you can see that. Right. This back where it should be. I'm just going to pop that in place here. There we go. Just as predicted, I have it all over my fingers, which we don't want. Right, now it's hammer time. Hold it firmly. There we go. So obviously we've got these two vacuum pipes here. You want to not hit those. This will be a comedy moment if I do that. Okay, that's home. Just clean the edge of the hammer off. Just clear this off a bit. I realised I didn't get something out, so I'm going to pause a second while I get something. Right, I've been to get the bit I needed. What you need to do is, the next stage is I need to knock in this core plug just a little bit. It might not knock in very far because these core plugs are quite deep, and Rover didn't always leave enough space in the top of the inlet manifolds for doing this. They probably didn't even think we'd ever replace them. Anyway, this is the bit I got. It's an 11mm socket with something I've been hammering these in for a while. So I'm now going to try and hammer this in place. Obviously I've moved it around so you can get a better shot. Looks like this is going to be as far as it can go. I just need to do a bit of cleaning up just on this top edge. You can see there's some of that high temperature silicone there, and it's all brushed up. So this is just a steel brush that you use to do that. And that is one core plug done. I'm going to repeat the process with the other little one, which is going to be here. But I'll do that on the workbench, but I won't show you in great massive detail. Right, the manifold is now in the bench. It's nicely tightly clamped there. As you can see, I've already put the bead of silicone around the hole, and I've also put it around the core plug. So I'm just going to put it in there, make it nice and level, and now use the hammer. As you can see, it uses quite a lot of force to put it in. Clean up the end of the hammer. Just take some of the excess off there. And as with before, we're just going to use this to hammer it in, if it will go. There we go, just gone in a little bit, and as before, just while I brush that bit off. If you wanted to clean up your manifold, a set of little wire brushes like this will do wonders. Bit of degrease and a little set of wire brushes like that. Okay, that's the second one in. So now we're going to put the pipes in. So back to heat, we'll set it all up and we'll come back in a second. Okay, we put the manifold in the workbench, ready to put the pipes in. We're going to do this little pipe first, which is this one here, and then we'll do the big pipe which fits in here. Okay, first of all we need to put some silicone around some bits, because I'm still into belt and braces. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to put a tiny smear on the inside here, and then you put a smear on the outside. When you buy the kit from me, there is a line here, and that's the depth that you hammer to. So let me just do this. Your glove will get really messy, but it's just a smear you need in here. That's good. And then just put a little blob on there. Just ease it round. There we go. All this does is just make sure it if there's any notches or anything in the side of the manifold, it takes those up. Let me just put that there while I clean up. Otherwise I'm going to put silicone everywhere. Okay, and now we're going to start heating up. Okay, as with before, when we removed the pipes, it's time to heat everything up again. It needs to be at least as hot as it was when we took the pipes out. And as you can see, lots of moisture on the manifold to get rid of. So yeah, I'll make a cup of tea and enjoy yourselves. I think we're about there now. Another minute. Okay, I think we're done. Okay, we're just going to pop this in here. He says, got to try and get it nicely squared up. Let me just have a look. Well, that was typical. It's okay though. Okay, I'm going to hammer it in now. I'm bracing the bench against me so I can hammer it in. You see, hammer it up to the line. Done. Next we're going to do the pipe at the side here, but we're going to turn the bench around so you can see it all properly. Right, now we've got to put the long pipe in. This is the fiddly and probably the most crucial part of this. Obviously you can fit it in and you can twist it round, and it can be all sorts of ways round. Obviously you want to try and put it in so it's from the top lines up with this pipe as best you can, but because of you've got to hammer this bit in first, you've got to do a lot of things by sight. So what I've done is I've marked the halfway point on the hole here, and you have to, there's no better way, but you just have to carefully align it with your eye. That's the only thing you can do. So you've got to get the pipe in looking like it's square or perpendicular, whichever mathematical phrase is right here, so the pipe will go in smoothly here, and then you've got to go back up here, eye it from the top, and then you've got to eye it from the side, and then what I advise you to do is put a line on the pipe, which you know, good Blue Peter tradition, I already have. So I think I've got it about lined up, so that should give me, when knocked in, the pipe should be more or less from the top level with this pipe. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit either way, and the cleat will hold it anyway. And then yeah, make sure there's a gap here. This is crucial obviously, because the pipes, the hose pipe has to fit on. So I think we're there. You can probably just about see a little black line on there, which I'm using. If you can't, trust me, it's there. Right, so as before with the top pipe, I'm going to put a little bit of silicone inside and a little bit of silicone around here. I've added the silicone inside, and we've put some silicone on the end of the pipe there, just like we did with the small pipe. And now it's still quite warm. Obviously be careful when you put in the silicone. It's actually cool enough that you can apply the silicone while it's warm like that. But obviously be careful, because your manifold will be pretty hot. And we're just going to heat it up like we did before when we took it out. going to be about right there. Okay, let's do it. So I'm just looking, sighting up the lines that I made. Remember, this manifold is very hot now. Okay. Let's do it. Looks like it's going in right. It requires quite a lot of force. Oh. Well, I think I'm going to call it quits there. Sometimes what happens is there isn't as much runway inside as standard. So what I think what's happened here is, you can see I haven't forced it all the way in, but it will be very secure in there. And so we'll call it quits there. I'm absolutely knackered. Okay, just to show that the pipes are in the right place, here's some old water pipes, and they'll just fit on like that, and you put your Jubilee clips here and here, so good amount of spacing in between those, all good. We're going to let it cool down a bit, and then we're going to do some cleanup on the inside of this pipe and the inside of this pipe, and then we can do the final core plug. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. It's going to be quite hard to show you this, but we're going to do our best to try and do this. Because when you put the pipes in, they build up a little bit of silicone in the waterway, so you need to remove that. So what we're going to try and do here, and I'm going to try and move it into a position, and hopefully we can get an angle where you can see inside. And if we try and do it to the other end, this will be harder to see again. I'm going to be directed here. We're looking down the main pipe, and you can see some goo in the bottom there, which you've got to remove. Okay, I just use a scalpel, and I just go inside here and around the metal wall where you can see the goo. I just cut away. I'm not going to show you do it because I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to sort of indicate what I do, and then you pull out the piece of goo that comes out of the middle. I'm going to do that now. You'll see the piece of goo. Okay, there you go. You can see it on the end of the scalpel. That's what I've just cut away. It's not a major piece, but it's important. You'll see why in a little bit. I'm going to do the other end now. I used the scalpel again. I went inside here, and this is the stuff that came out basically. So that's cleared the waterways for the pipes. So next we're going to put the final core plug in. Before we put the core plug in, I know I told you to remove the bit of goo that's at the top of the where the pipe came in, but we're going to put it back again, but in a nice seal. Again, belt and braces is really probably not needed, but I just prefer peace of mind. So again, I'm going to put a lump of black stuff on the end of my finger, and the only way you can do this is feeling it. So you're going to put your finger in and you're going to feel where the pipe, the stainless steel pipe ends, and you need to twist your finger around and get the seal. I might have to lift it up, I'm afraid, so I can get around the pipe. I think I've got it there. I'm going to have a look. Okay, I've been in there and I've put the goo at the where the pipe finishes. The reason you do this is, I've said belt and braces, but basically I just want to make sure there's a seal at the end of the pipe and into the manifold. It's just an extra thing, and you need to do that before you put this core plug in. Also, you could have excess sealant building up on the inside of pipes, so just go in there and just clean it up with your fingers or a scalpel, just to take the excess out of there. Right, we're now going to do this core plug. Same as before, I'm going to put a bead around the outside on the inside of the manifold, and I'm going to put the receptacle piece on the core plug, and then we're going to tap it in. But you'll see that when I set it up on the bench. Okay, so we're going to put this last core plug in. As I said, I put the silicone around the edge there, a bit messy, got it around that core plug. Just going to pop it in place. This one, famous last words, should be a lot easier to do. So here we go, let's hammer it in. Okay, that's in. Clean up the hammer. So same as before, but this is a 13mm socket, and that just fits over the top there. I'm just going to hammer it home. This will move compared to the other ones. Just get it lined up. There we go. And that's just knocked that in a little bit. Clean that up. Let's just clean the top off. There we go. Just use this. Let's use the proper one. There we go. Silicone out of the middles. There we go. That is the pipes and the core plugs all in. Right, so now we have to leave that for 24 hours to let the silicone go off everywhere. It needs to be leak tested. Not going to show you how to do that, but it's quite simple to do that because water finds a way. and then we'll come back. The next time we do this, I'll fit the cleat, which is the last part, which secures the pipes finally to the manifold. Welcome back to the shed. Here's our manifold. You saw me put the pipes in earlier and the core plugs. We're now going to fit the cleat, the fixing cleat, which is this. I provide in part of the kit like a handmade copper cleat. This supports this long pipe. In the kit I provide 2 different lengths of bolt and a fitting sleeve as well. You'll see now why I'm doing that. So what I'm going to do is just dry fit it, just so you can see part of the reason. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Let me go and do that, get the sleeve. Okay, just slot that through there so you can see the bolt and the sleeve. And the sleeve just provides a bit of support to the cleat itself. Just wind that in there. Now, you'll probably notice it's moving around a lot, and you probably notice there was a slot. There's one I prepared earlier. There you go. It's in copper, so you can extend the slot if you wish as well. What happens, the reason I do that is because when you fit the pipe, there's, as you probably heard me explain what I did earlier, how you fit it and the orientation makes quite a difference to how the cleat fits. So the cleat I provide gives you some level of movement in order to clamp the pipe well. So yeah, there's a little bit of movement on there. This is quite accurate. The other thing you can do is I've got a short one, so what you can do is you can underhang the cleat as well. It's just as strong, and you can see there. So you can underhang it and then use the short bolt instead. Obviously it means you have to cut down the sleeve, but you've got plenty of sleeve in order to do that. Right, so there we go, we fitted that now. The next stage is I'm just going to tighten that up just a little bit. I'm going to use a proper device first. Let's just tighten that up a bit. What you want to do before we get in, what we're going to do next is we're going to attach the cleat to the pipe with some epoxy. In order to do that, you need to know exactly where you're going to rough up the pipe in order that the epoxy sticks well. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to draw a little black line with a permanent marker around the edge, just around here, and the same again around here. So that's that done. Now we take the cleat back off. There we go, put them to one side, put the cleat to one side. Hopefully you can see there's a couple of black lines there. Next we're going to just scuff up on the stainless steel, and we're also going to scuff up just here. Obviously stainless steel is very shiny and very difficult to get any purchase on. So what you're just doing here is just giving the epoxy the best chance it can to grip in. And I've just cut out a little bit of coarse sandpaper here to do that. There we go, that's that. And then we do the same to the cleat. A lot easier inside the copper. It's a lot softer. Okay. There we go. Just going to put this to one side. Leave that there. Right, next is the epoxy. So this is a putty epoxy that I use. You can, if you have soldering or brazing equipment, you can solder this if you wish. But I prefer, or I have started to prefer, to use this epoxy, which does just as good a job. And in many ways is clean. So all I'm doing is I'm cutting a little slither of this. This will be too much, but you can't really cut any less than that. Just put that away. You don't actually have very much time to work with this once it goes. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this up, and it's going to stick to my gloves and look very amusing, I'm sure. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay it inside here. But it takes about, I don't know, 5-6 minutes to go off once it's in. There you go, big old black, grey yuck. So I kind of get stuck to my gloves, and then you've got to try to smooth it in here, trying to get it around a little bit, around all the edges, if you can. There you go, can you see that? Like that. Right, let's bring this in, take that away. Right, put that there. So what you're trying to do is you're going to line it up with the black lines that you put on the main pipe, and then you've got to just aim down like that. And then just tighten up the bolt. What you want to do is you want to push it home. So I'm going to apply pressure here. You can see it squidging out, that's fine. But you do want it to be nice and tough on this. You'll see it starts to move a little bit. Just grab it a little bit. There we go. That's all fixed. Looks a bit of a mess. So what I next do is I get a scalpel or a craft knife, whatever you've got at hand, and you just go around the edge here. And peel that off. And do the same the other end. Go, and you can see there's a little bit on the pipe, and you can just tuck it into the edge if you want it to be nice and pretty, and the same down here, and there you go. That is done, and we'll put those there. You can see those are the offcuts. That will tell me how long it takes to go off. So that is that fitted. What you can do from this point, you can just use a bit of sort of brasso or something if you really want to shine up the copper to make it all nice and pretty and match the shininess in here. But that's it, that's fitted, and that will take about 5 minutes, and that will go off, and that will be strong as a strong thing. I'm going to take my gloves off, and I'll be back in a second. Now to the final bit. It's not a very difficult bit, but we're going to add the vacuum markers. You saw me take them off earlier. They go here and here, so I'm just going to get these here. These are brand new ones, and we put the red one on this side and the white one on this side. And there you go. Just pop them on to start off with, and then I'll do a bit of wiggling with this screwdriver. You can see on my hand. So it's not quite on correct. It kind of just pushes itself up, so you just have to, you'll be able to see it, you can see it sort of crowns itself, and then you have to bring it out, and that's done the same. There you go. So there you go, that's 2 markers on that. Hopefully you can see those. There you go. And that is that manifold done. I'm just going to see, that is already going hard. So that's nearly done. That means that fixing's there, nearly solid now. So that's that manifold done. All good. Well, now we've done the complete manifold, I might as well just talk briefly about the kit. I'm just going to do it tidying up while I talk about things. Yeah, so I've been talking about fitting the kit, and so I might as well show you the actual kit. So I'll just move that at the back there. So as part of the kit you get full instructions on how to do it. So pretty much everything you've seen me do is in there and explained. You get the large pipe, the small pipe, you get the copper fitting cleat with the adjustable piece, you get 2 embottised bolts, you get the stainless steel sleeve, and you get 3 stainless steel core plugs, and you get the little vacuum markers as well. So that's in the kit. Everything you need, the only thing you need to provide is, if you're going to use it, the high temperature seal, silicone seal, and the stuff you saw in the end, the epoxy putty. So there you go. If you go to Classic NLA, the Facebook page, there'll be information on where you can get this kit if you want it. But yeah, thanks for watching.